Allie here with my sidekick, Dobby, and it is September, which means it is time for my August wrap-up. Now, I started August in the middle of BookTube-A-Thon, which helped me kind of get some books under my belt, so I actually did not do terribly this month. Let's dive in. At the very end of July, I started The Darkest Legacy, which I then finished in August. This book is a continuation of the Darkest Minds series, which I still consider The Darkest Minds a trilogy, and then this is kind of like a sequel book. I don't know if there's going to be another one or not. I remember as I was getting close to the end, I was like, there has to be another book. It did kind of have an ending, but there are still other things that need to happen, so I think there is room for another book. But again, I consider this kind of like a sequel to The Darkest Minds, not actually a continuation of the series. It has a different protagonist that it is following, and that trilogy does have like an ending. I did like this book possibly more than any of the other three. I gave it 5 stars. I did plan to do a video for it, but I have continued to be terrible when it comes to videos. So I didn't, and now it's been too long. Sorry. I also started August in the middle of Rapture, which is the 4th book of the Fallen series. I gave it 4 stars. It was decent. I'm a little confused as to whether it was the ending of the series or not, because there is one more book that is considered number 5, but it looks like it's about somebody else. I have not listened to that one yet. I was audiobooking all of these, and I was just kind of done at the end of this one. I enjoyed them, but I didn't feel the need to continue, and you'll hear what I did instead. Next, I read Dear Martin by Nick Stone. I have had this book for like 2 years, something like that. I don't know. I got it as an ARC, and it didn't come out this year. So I had it for a while. I think I was scared to read it because I had heard like one person say something negative about it, which made me think that it had mixed reviews. But no, this book was phenomenal. Dear Martin is about a black boy who goes to a predominantly white school with, I think he has like one other black classmate, and he experiences true racial bias for the first time. He'd been surrounded by it his whole life, but he's targeted by the police for actually trying to help his ex-girlfriend get home when she was drunk and not let her drive. And he ends up in handcuffs. And he realizes that this is completely wrong. He knew this was happening, I believe, but he had never experienced it before. So he decides he wants to start writing letters to Martin Luther King in like a what would you do kind of way, just kind of to get his thoughts out and put them somewhere. And there are lots of twists and turns from there. I definitely recommend everybody read this, especially white people that are open to hearing more about the black experience. It kind of destroyed me in a couple ways, but also in good ways. There was a character there that I related to a lot, and yeah, I gave it 5 stars. It was wonderful. And of course I didn't do a book talk for it because I still suck at videos. Next, I very quickly read Every Exquisite Thing, which is one of Cassandra Clare's little novellas that is going on right now. I'm still like 2 or 3 behind with those, but hopefully I can catch up soon. I gave this one 4 stars, and it was cute. I did like this one. It was another representation that was important. My comment on this one was Cecily and Gabriel are the best. This one was extremely bittersweet, and if you've read it, you know why. Next, I read A Prom To Remember by Sandy Hall. This is another one that I had the ARC for a long time, although this one I didn't feel quite as much with it because the book just came out in April 2018. So only a few months late with the review. Well, I'm not doing a full review, but I didn't love this book. I think it's because I had high hopes for it because it looks adorable and it's YA romantic contemporary, and that sounded great. It is about how many people? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 main characters as they get ready for prom. Some of them are kind of at the end of relationships. Some of them are trying to start new relationships. Some of them are in relationships via computer that they don't even know who it is. I think my biggest thing was it had a lot of potential to be absolutely adorable, and it kind of fell a little flat. I kept expecting something more to happen than happened. And I get, like, the whole thing was leading up to prom, and in real life, prom is not as eventful as you think it might be. But it just wasn't what I was hoping for. I gave it 3 stars, which is still supposed to be I like it, but for me, that's actually pretty bad. Sorry. Next up, I listened to the audiobook for The Hunger Games. No, this was not my first time. It is my first time listening to the audiobook of The Hunger Games. I've been meaning to reread The Hunger Games for at least 3 years. The last time I read it was 5 years ago. I read it, I think, 4 times within like 2 years, but I hadn't read it in about 5 years. So I was like, you know what? I really want to reread The Hunger Games, but I have too many other books I'm reading, but I need to take a break from audiobooking the Fallen series. I'm just gonna listen to the audiobook for The Hunger Games. I will say, I don't love the narrator. I did get used to her, and my emotions are the same as, well, no, I actually get emotional earlier than the first time I read the books. Disclaimer, I'm assuming anybody that watches my videos knows everything that happens in The Hunger Games between reading them and watching the movies, because why are you here if you don't care about that series? So I'm about to give spoilers for The Hunger Games. So now, like, the moment you see Prim, I start sobbing. It's ridiculous. The moment we meet Rue, sobbing. The second they're in the cave, and the moment she hears that, like, Katniss. Oh, now I'm not talking about The Hunger Games anymore. Sobbing. Like, earlier sobs than ever before. I started, like, smiling like crazy earlier than I would have in my favorite scenes. My emotions are bigger the more I read these books, not smaller. And I think it's just because, like, these books have become my home almost as much as Harry Potter, but it's crazy. Anyway. And after that, I listened to Catching Fire. I have those 2 right in a row. Check that out. Next, I read I Have Lost My Way by Gail Forman. I have had this book since it came out. I just kept putting it off because other books were coming out and I wanted to read them. And I hadn't heard that much about this one, which I thought meant it wasn't that great, which is true. It's a Gail Forman book, which means I had high expectations. I adore everything she's written pretty much. I didn't love this. It wasn't bad. I gave it 4 stars. It is about 3 teenagers that collide in an unexpected way in New York and change each other's lives forever. They're all kind of in difficult parts of their lives, and they really need each other. It was very slow at the beginning. It took me a long time to get into. By the end, I really did enjoy it, and I liked the way the characters affected each other and the impact that they had. It was enjoyable, but definitely not my favorite Gail Forman book. If you're gonna read a Gail Forman book, make it If I Stay. Or Just One Day was also good. Very different. Very different. All of her books are very emotional and, like, very different emotions. Oh, or what was the other one? I Was Here. I Was Here was really good too. Anyway, yeah, this one definitely, I think, not the best, but not terrible. What kind of recommendation is that? That was the last book that I finished in August, but I ended August in the middle of listening to Mockingjay, and yeah, emotional still. And I also finished August, having just started, The Towering Sky by Catherine Mickey. This is the 3rd and final book in the Thousandth Floor trilogy. I love this series so much. I call it my soap opera series. I think I'm not going to get into it because I finished this in September, but I have finished it by now. I'm going to talk about it more in my September one, and I do plan to do a book talk for this one in the next week or so that I can actually remember it and do it, because I just finished it like 2 days ago, I think, so it's still fresh in my mind. Third and final book in the Thousandth Floor series. I have book talks for the first 2 in that series, so I will link those below, and I will probably link this below as well once I film it and post it. Apparently that's it. I feel like I read more. I mean, I guess that was a fair amount in August. And now back to real life. I read this early as an ARC, which is why I did not talk about it just now and what I read, but it came out in August, and I adore this book, That's Not What Happened, by Cody Keplinger. I do have a review for this one, and I will link that below as well. I think there are a couple books coming out this month I either have ARCs for and plan to do reviews before they come out, or I've already read and I plan to post a video when it comes out. So stay tuned for those. I will actually have at least one, hopefully like 2 or 3 videos in September. Oh, and I also picked up Catwoman by Sarah J. Maas. This is actually the first one in this, I don't know if it's a series because they're all by different authors, but the DC whatever, this is the first one I've had to actually buy. I've had ARCs of the first 2, and I had to buy this one, and it's Sarah J. Maas, which means I'm probably gonna love it, but I haven't read it yet because I've had other things to read, but I should probably do that, right? Yeah, right. Oh, and I got a signed copy. Ah! That's it for August. We are now in September. Please give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Follow me on Twitter at ReaderGonnaRead, just like my YouTube channel, and you can subscribe by clicking down below or up there. I will talk to you next time. Bye! Hey, Ellie and Dobby here. Like the video? Come subscribe. Do it right now. Click it.